Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, it's all good now though. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming back and I guess helping us out some more.
No problem, man. Gonna complete the three matchups today.
Yeah, complete the trifecta, the trinity,
Yep.
the trilogy, whatever. All
All
right.
right.
I am just give me 2 seconds. I'm all my mods are
Okay.
offline, so I'm appointing a couple guys so that
Okay.
people aren't trolling the chat while we're doing this because I can't be moderating and absorbing all the awesomeness that is machine at the same time.
All right.
Um,
How's the Zerg vs Frost and Zerg vs Zerg been going?
Man, I can't tell you how much better I feel about just my play in general. Like, I mean, when I started with Jeff, I was at 1800, and then when you did your first lesson with me, I was at 1900, and now I'm at almost 2500.
We're lowering
So.
the cost of the perfect
Wow.
gift.
Oh my God,
The
Dremel Trio,
is
you're
a new
so
twist
annoying.
on an old favorite. It cuts, sands,
I don't
and
really
grouts
understand
for
how to
only
use
99 bucks.
Pro Streamer,
More
so I'm having to
saving,
grant
more doing.
moderator on the
That's
website,
power of the Home Depot.
hearing commercials, and it's terrible.
Oh yeah.
Alright, Orange Weaver. Awesome, alright, cool. I have 2 mods. Now we're ready to go. Let's do this thing.
All right. Well, first off, what have you kind of been doing against Terran?
Alright,
Like as far as like a starting, like an opening, and then transition versus bio, or a transition versus mech, like things like that.
okay, here's my general mindset in ZvT. And I'm going to start it off by saying that prior to any coaching, I think I was having the easiest time with ZvT just because of how cost-effective banelings are against bio.
Yep.
Anyway,
Uh,
so my general opening, I like the 14 hatch, but these days in the 2 racks metagame, you should go ahead and 14 pool 16 hatch, similarly to how we do our ZVP.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I scout 2 racks, I'm probably going to throw up a baneling nest before layer, and obviously get speed. And then a normal mid-game transition against bio is just Ling baneling, no more than like 6 or 7 mutas, and then just try to secure bases while teching to tier 3. If I see mech, I usually go like double, maybe not double evo, but I try to get an evo going as quick as possible for ranged attack and get as many roaches as I can out to deal with that. For banshees, I'll add queens and maybe throw down a spore. Honestly, I'm just kind of playing it. I'm just feeling it out, getting the units that I feel do well against the units he's making. But I really don't have any good, tight, I guess, rigid build orders that I can take into a game and say that I'm confident in.
Okay. First off, as far as the whole hatch first versus like pool first, hatch first is so much stronger. As far as your economy early on, that it's a build that you don't want to just completely take out of your arsenal.
Right.
But you're absolutely right, because of this whole 1 racks or like 2 racks builds, or like proxy a single racks and do like bunker rush, things like that. You have to be switching in pool first builds, and that means either early speedling or 14 pool 16 hatchery, like you're saying. So actually, compared to my other matchups, Zerg vs Terran's the one that I kind of switch it up the most as far as early game build orders. I really like the hatchery first, and obviously if you can get away with it, it puts you at a huge advantage early on.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't take that risk every time. There's going to be players who are going to be doing those proxy racks rushes with 20 SCVs and just complete all-in cheese that you're not going to be able to stop.
Yeah, I think probably my last 10 ladder games against Terran, at least 8 have been 2 racks something.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as kind of like just a standard build, I'd probably go exactly what you're doing. 14 pool, 16 hatchery expand into Zergling speed, and then throw down a baneling nest if you see 2 or 3 racks early on before command center or something. But if you see they're fast expanding, you just want to go speed into layer. If you know it's bio, like they haven't done any kind of early Hellion harass, and it's just been pure bio, and you scout their main, and they have multiple barracks is I go Baneling Nest as your lair is about halfway completed, or a little bit more than that. And the timing for that is just to kind of deal with some of the mid-game rushes that hit right as your lair finishes. Like sometimes you'll run into like Marine, Hellion kind of things, and it's really nice to add a few Banelings in there. And it's also to deal with drops. A lot of Terrans do like a two starport or a two medevac drop with bio in your main, and having those 4 or 5 Banelings once again really helps against that.
Yeah, 16 Marines hurt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Straight into lair muta. The only thing that I really don't agree with what you've said so far is just the 7 muta comment. You want to get those 7 muta early on, but you actually want to be spending most of your gas resources on mutalisks. Mutalisks add great map control. If they look away from a base for 2 seconds, don't have enough turrets at it, you can snipe add-ons, you can snipe missile turrets, and later on you can start sniping mineral lines, you can start sniping barracks once you get enough mutalisks going. And it really forces them to kind of be spread pretty thin, which is what you're looking for. Yes, having a lot of Banelings is nice, but you can actually do a lot more damage by having like those massive like mutalisk armies flying around.
Okay.
The only problem with that would be if your opponent's going something like 2 Factory Thor.
Yeah,
or something.
That's what I was gonna say. But I mean, but I gotta scout that, right? I mean, and then scout it in transition, right?
Yeah, you'd scout it with the mutalisks and still have plenty of time to transition. Even one Factory Thor isn't gonna deter me from massing up those mutalisks, but if they get any more than that, I've found it's very hard to be efficient with them. And once you see that, you can start mixing in roaches. Like anytime your opponent gets, it has a biomech army, either Marine tank or Marine Thor or something like that, you need to be mixing in roaches once they start massing up those mech units. Like probably, I say around 7 siege tanks or so is when I'll start just throwing 10 roaches into the mix, because it's very inefficient to be rolling this big ball of Banelings into a bunch of siege tanks that are auto-firing the center of the Banelings. So, yeah. And against pure mech, you have to expand much quicker against pure mech, like Marine or Hellion, Thor, siege tank.
Yeah.
You need to be taking your 3rd and 4th immediately, and then followed by your 5th very quickly after that, because it really takes a long time for mech to actually get rolling, get going, moving out. But when it does, it's very hard to stop, so you're going to have those extra resources to deal with it. Pure Roach is okay. If you're at a big advantage, you can get away with just going Pure Roach and then throwing in some Zerglings. But I found that especially if they're very Thor heavy, it's best to go Roach, Ling, and Fester with Neural Parasite.
Ugh. Why did you have to say that?
It's very hard, I know. I don't like it, to be honest. I know, it's only 10 seconds and then they turn right back against you again, and that doesn't seem that great, but it's the best thing that I've found, honestly, to counter just like a straight Thor army.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like later on, tech to Broodlords. Broodlords will definitely do it as far as dealing with mech. But once again, if you go Broodlords, you got to make sure you have the Corruptors for the Vikings. But yeah, I don't know. Mech is something I've been stuck on for a while because luckily not very many North American Terrans do it. But the ones that I do that have done it, especially players like a good solid Terran player like DeMuslim.
Yeah.
Man, he just, I don't know where he gets the resources, but 14 minutes into the game, he has this max mech army just walking in my base, and I can't stop it. So it's pretty difficult to deal with.
Well, I've actually lined up some Terran players to play with us today, in case you didn't have anybody. So
nice.
That's taken care of.
Okay.
So that's why I was just kind of pausing, because Davey just joined the chat, so he might even jump in with us, which would be cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Anyway, what was my question going to be? Oh yeah, so back to that mech thing. What's your solution if they sprinkle in banshees?
It depends on how many, I guess. And it depends on the ratio of Banshee to Thor. If they're very Banshee heavy and like, I don't know, if I see 4 or 5, let's say 5 or less Thors, I'll go Muta. If I start seeing beyond 5 or 6 Thors, I have to switch it up and go Hydralisk, but they're not really that great. And then I'll start adding in like Fungal and Neural to try and help out with it.
Yeah, I've had success sprinkling in Hydras, and I'm kind of glad you said that.
Yeah, I don't know, because like a lot of Terrans will go like 3-port Banshee and then like 1-port Factory. And if they do that, I'm obviously just gonna go Muta. But if they have like a good mix, like 2-port Banshee, 2-fact Thor, or 3-fact Thor, yeah, it's much more difficult to deal with. So
it kind of sounds like you're not using as rigid of a build order as you do in the other matchups.
No, not at all. Zerg vs. Terran is kind of something that I've just learned to deal with by feeling it out in the game, just because it's actually kind of, I don't know, like Terrans can adjust their composition very quickly. Like if let's say I start, they go Banshee Thor, and I start going the Hydralisk, adding Hydralisk in the mix, they can immediately just start going Siege Tank, and that's countered. So, it's much more like Zerg, and the fact that you can switch your tech almost instantly. And then with like Biomech, it's even more adjustable. So a lot of it has to do with what you're kind of feeling out in the game.
All right. Well, then should we jump into a game?
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and get this started. And you said you had some Terrans?
Yes.
All right, that'd be great.
I'm just going to suggest this guy to the game. Do you have a build that I guess you want him to be using?
We're just gonna. Oh, him? No, let's keep it interesting.
All right.
Let's have him. We'll feel this one out. Just keep adjusting to it.
Oh, you're killing me, Becco. I was just talking to him. There he is.
There we go. Alright, this first game, let's just go 14 hatch, 15 pool.
Hatch, 15 pool?
Yep.
I don't think this guy understands what we're doing just yet.
Oh.
That's okay. He'll figure it out. Turn up my game sound.
Generally, with this Overlord on a map like this, I'll scout it straight to their ramp and then move from there. That's because most Terrans are going to run their first SCV to the edge of the map, try to scout for that Overlord, and they'll miss it if you move it off to the side like that.
I see.
Just one little adjustment I do. As far as your second Overlord on this map, there's no real great things you can do with it. Scouting for bunker rushes is probably optimal. Maybe scout, if you know that he's not close ground positions to you, you can send it over there and then move it to the like in between 12 and 3 o'clock bases if he's 12 o'clock to scout him with later. But first, initially, it's good to just scout for bunker rushes.
Okay.
All right, so 14 hatchery here. One more, John. There we go. And I also like to